This episode of More Stories brought to you by BarkBox. BarkBox is a monthly box of treats, toys, and goodies that'll drive your pup bonkers. Delivered right to your doggy door. And if you sign up at barkbox.com/more, M-O-H-R, you will save 20% on your new pup subscription. I don't know if you know how much I love my puppies. You can check them out. They're cute. They're healthy. You know why? BarkBox. Early month BarkBox contains 4 to 6 pawsome full-size products, including everything from innovative toys and gadgets, all natural, healthy treats, and more. Rest assured, BarkBox would never send anything that hasn't been tested by their office pups. BarkBox is committed to the cause of homeless dogs. As a rule, they give 10% of the revenue to local rescues and shelters across the United States and Canada. In 2013, BarkBox donated over $150,000 to pups in need through a number of innovative social good campaigns. Let's help BarkBox give $1 million in 2014. How easy? Go to barkbox.com/more to save 20%. Save 20% on your new subscription by visiting barkbox.com/more. Again, that's barkbox.com/MOHR.
Hello, podcast fans. Adam Carolla here. I'm leading the fight against patent trolls who are threatening this medium. It's not about me. It's about the podcast you're listening to right now. If I go down, this show could be next. Visit fundanything.com/patent troll for more information on how you can keep podcasting alive. Thank you and mahalo.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Jason Ray noticed a blue birthmark had appeared on his forehead in the shape of the Geico Gecko. Jason felt compelled to switch his car insurance to Geico and save hundreds of dollars with great discounts. By nightfall, the birthmark had disappeared. Jason's wife, Jeannie, thinks it was probably just blueberry jam from breakfast. Jason prefers to believe otherwise.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game change.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
Todd Barry in the house. ToddBarry.com.
In the actual house.
Actually in the garage.
In the garage of the house.
But it's attached to the house. Okay, I click show. This is a nice website.
Did you steal my drink?
Oh, here. No, I never gave it to you, I don't think.
God.
Cocktail time on More Stories. Episode 220 or something. We lose track, Todd Barry.
I know I have a podcast too.
What the name of your podcast is called?
Todd Barry Podcast.
Okay, let me write that down here.
I'm 47 episodes into it.
You like it?
Yeah. Well, I guess that answered that. It's a lot of work, right?
Is it?
Isn't it? Like just having all these talks with people? Arranging, setting it up? I don't know a producer like you do, man.
Yeah, I got the extravagant Matty Boy over here on the wheels of steel.
Extravagant, I like that.
I got a mixer and everything.
What do you just do, like a Zoom recorder?
I have a USB mic that I just plug right into
right in the computer,
into a QuickTime file. It's about as bare bones.
Well, that's all you need. That's what's good about it.
Yeah, you know, there's always people who will complain about sound quality.
Although, really,
yeah,
on the internet,
like,
people complain.
I know.
What are the odds? Go see. Here it is. Todd Barry, May 8th, 6th
and I in DC.
I downstairs, 7 p.m. And of course. 9 p.m., two shows that night. And May 9th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Underground Arts and the Sinclair in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know these rooms, Todd Barry.
They're not comedy clubs. They're little rooms that I've been, not all little, few hundred seats. I guess that's little depending on how many tickets you sell.
Like, how do you go, like, I'm not going to do the Improv. I'm going to do 6th and I downstairs.
I've been doing that for a few years now. I just got a little tired of doing it their way. You know what I mean? I hate going into a town and they go, all right, here's where you're going to be interviewed tomorrow. It's like, can I set up or can you ask me? You know what I mean? Just like, you're going to a country music station at 6:45 in the morning.
You don't like selling tickets? You don't like...
I know, you're like baffled. You're like, why don't you want to do this?
Why, you don't suck from the corporate heat like the rest of us?
No, I like to promote my shows, but I just feel like I like to sort of control everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not playing huge places, but...
What I like, a lot of comics are doing this, and you're right behind them. $5 download at louisck.com.
Yeah, that's my crowdwork special.
The crowdwork tour.
Special, yeah.
The crowdwork special and the crowdwork tour. $5 download. I was talking to Jackie Cation, and she did the same thing.
Yeah.
But she goes, great idea. Love taking the power back, but maybe Louis could have set the bar like at $9.
I know. It's like when you know you're going to sell hundreds of thousands of them, you can do a $5 thing and rake it in 3 days. But
I think you should have went for like $5.50.
I know. It would have been
just
funny.
Thumb your nose.
It would have been funny if he just did like an $8 one. Just
Why
like
not?
Everything's $5 except mine was $8.
Yeah. $88.
But $5 seems like to be like it's the stand. I said this last night on stage. It's like that's the go-to price for everything comedy, like outside of a comedy club or a theater or whatever. But like any little bar show, if it's not free, it's $5.
$5.
Like they feel guilty charging more.
Yeah, $5. Like when I started doing open mics in 86. It was $5, for an open mic night.
I mean, $5, you shouldn't really be able to get anything for $5 anymore.
You shouldn't expect much comedy for $5.
Right, I know, and then they get all these people who've been on TV, and you're like...
Yeah. Is that just because we're whores and we need to go up so bad?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what... I mean, that's why there's all these free rooms, because people want to get on... And I understand, but...
It isn't... Like, I won't drive to Silver Lake to go play a place that's free. But if I'm at like a friend's house and they're going to do something for free, I'm great. It's like something. It is fun.
It is. Yeah, they are fun, and it's a good place to work stuff out. But sometimes, like you're like, am I going to spend $15 on parking? Like I'm going to pay to go on stage for 10 minutes?
Well, that's why you got that hustle.
Yeah.
Why are there deers with antlers on your website?
Oh, I don't know. It just looks cool, right?
It does look cool.
It looks cool. It's pretty good for a comics website. Huh?
It's a very good website. You're known as a big hunter. You and Ted Nugent get after it all the time.
Are really
the Nuge.
We are big game hunters.
Here's what's interesting to me. I've known you as long as probably anybody else that's been on the podcast. You know, all I've ever wanted when I've gone on the road, Todd Barry, at Todd Barry on Twitter, and the crowdwork where it's $5 and louisck.com. is, I do all those radio stations, like the country western. And I don't do the hip hop one because it's never sold a ticket. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, that's sort of the point I was making.
Right. But I'll do the soccer mom. Like, I can go square peg, square hole. I can go round. I can be like a little amorphous all morning long. I'm fine with it. But the thing is, I've always said, where are like the reviews? How come nobody reviews stand-up like they do music?
You gotta go to the UK, man.
You got all these reviews, and I'm going to read a couple. You tell me which one is absurd and which ones are on the money. Because I think you're a great comic, and I was telling Matty Boy bits that I remembered from yours.
Yeah.
Like herpes mild.
Oh, my God.
Old school, right?
That's 25 years old.
It's a good bit. I like it a lot. It's good. Now the audience is going, well, can we hear it?
Nope. No, you can't. That one's gone.
Piercing, blinding, slaying, violating wit. Who said that?
I don't even know who said that.
NPR.
Did they really?
Little outfit called NPR.
I didn't know that they were aware of me.
I'm not blind yet. I want to be blind at the end of this hour.
Oh, from the piercing wit. Oh, blinding wit.
Piercing, blinding.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, actually.
It means you're goddamn funny and NPR loves you. Acerbic wit, deadpan delivery, wickedly smart. Time Out New York. And now we go all the way to, ready for this one? What country is this from? How about this? The success lies with the delivery.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
That's from Melbourne, Australia.
Look at you.
Yeah.
See,
well, I
you
probably,
read your own press.
I
Sell
probably
out.
Found these quotes and put them there.
I love it. So, what made you decide to make Louis be the server? You and Louis, I know, are friends.
Yeah.
Server meaning louisck.com is where you get Todd's special.
Right. He paid for the special, too.
Whoa.
It was a 7-city tour, and he paid for it. So camera crew followed me from San Diego to Oh, that's nice. I have horns honking on my podcast.
Not here, man. West Side. We got
chirping
nice
birds. This is beautiful.
How many cities? Oh, so 7 cities.
7 cities, all the way up through. We started in San Diego, went up L.A., Portland, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, and Anchorage.
You fit right in Anchorage.
Anchorage, yeah. It was. Have you ever played Alaska before?
I was booked to play there once, but this is before I was diagnosed with panic disorder, and I freaked out because it was going to be a 7-hour flight, and I said I can't go. It's too far.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Now I'm like, I can't believe I didn't play University of Anchorage, University of Alaska.
7 hours?
Maybe 6.
Well, how far?
You might not want to go to Australia.
New York.
I don't. From here to New York's 4.5, but from New York back for some reason
it's like
6 days.
Yeah. I don't understand that either. It's something to do with the winds.
The wind, yeah.
Yeah, but why is it the same? Like when the Rolling Stones went from JFK to LAX in 1966, it took the exact same amount of time as it does now for highfalutin folks like you and I and Louis C.K.
Oh, you're saying planes haven't gotten faster?
No.
Yeah, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, thank you, Maddie.
I've been saying.
Let's bring the Conchord back.
Yes.
One crash, the whole thing goes out of business.
I know. It went from, I think, the safest plane ever to the least safest plane or something like that. Yeah, because there's so few of them.
It was also like $50,000 for.
So what? Todd Barry's got that kind of cash floating around.
It's P. Diddy money.
He's doing free shows. He's got that kind of walking around money. What do you got on you right now? I'm gonna say you got $146 on you.
That's probably what.
No change.
I'm traveling, so that's probably what I have.
You got in the Uber car all the way from Hollywood and Vine.
I know.
Who's putting you up at the Hollywood and Vine Hotel?
Oh, well, I'm doing that show at midnight, and I'm also doing Conan.
Okay, good.
So they're both putting me up.
Was that your 1,000th Conan appearance?
It's my 18th.
You want to know my favorite? Is it really your 18th?
Yeah.
And through all incarnations?
Yeah, through every, yeah. I never did the Tonight Show in any incarnation.
Really?
Yeah, no Leno, no.
I thought that was really great. Here's, yes, I would fly to Australia because now I don't care to answer your question.
Okay.
I don't care at all, really, about anything. I sleep on planes very well.
Really? Oh, okay. So you've gotten better.
And oh yeah, it's like I can't wait to get on the plane because I know, look, I got kids, so when I go on a plane, I'm like, oh my God, is it only 4.5 hours?
I know.
Can you leg this out? Can you make it a 7-hour nap?
I hear you. I mean, I don't hear you. I don't have kids, but I get it.
But you hear me. You have ears, though.
I have ears, and I've been on planes with kids, and I know what kids. I know about kids.
I just tap out. And people always say they can't sleep on planes because they're afraid they're going to die. To which I always say, everybody always says they want to die in their sleep. So why not sleep on the plane? And then if the plane does go down, you die.
I've never heard anyone say they don't want to sleep because they want to be
they're
awake.
afraid. They're nervous. On the plane.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They're just scared.
So they can't fall asleep.
Right.
They're
Okay.
like freaking out. Like, what was that?
I thought they wanted to be awake as they crashed.
Who doesn't, really? Just see the look of horror on everyone's faces. Take that with you to the afterlife.
Yeah, man. I'd want to be awake.
That's good energy to take into the ether with you. Horror.
Oh, it's sleeping. If you could sleep through a plane crash, that'd be amazing.
I could. I'm the guy. Everyone always pictures the pearly gates as like this place where you go up nice, you meet St. Peter, he looks at your life. No one takes in the fact that everyone right before they die, 80% of people before they die are going, ah, like freaking out, screaming.
Shitting their pants too, I think, right?
Yeah, shitting your pants. So a bunch of people fouled shorts.
Oh my God.
St. Peter's did the worst job in the world. Everyone's just trembling, freaking out, and covered in their own shit going, what the fuck happened?
This is bumming me out more than thinking about those radio interviews.
No, I don't want to bum you out, Todd Barry. I remember my favorite Todd Barry bit of all time, and I bet you don't even remember it, because I think you only did it like 2 nights.
Oh my God.
I think you did it once at the Cellar. I was emceeing, and then I was done. I went across the street to the Boston Comedy Club. And it was about the 900 numbers, and the lady said, call me. The 900 numbers when the ladies want like...
Oh, I'm new in town?
Yeah. Oh, so that worked its way into the rotation?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I know. I didn't do that one a lot. And it was like something like, I'm new in town because the guy who's calling a 900 numbers fucked every woman in Manhattan. Is it that one?
Yeah, he's already been
Wow,
through.
you remember that one, huh?
You said the guy calling a 900 numbers already fucked his way through Manhattan. He's just sitting at home in a barber's chair with a drop cloth.
Yeah, I do remember drop cloth.
Fucking load after load. Like, oh, all right, here's a new one. I'm new in town. He's just for the phone. Like, finally.
I should bring that one back.
I loved it.
Doesn't John Mulaney do a new in town bit?
I don't know.
But this is on record as mine was before. I don't think Mulaney was born when that fucking...
No, it was like 99. It was like 90, literally.
Yeah.
It was like 90.
Yeah.
We were all at Barry's Club.
The Boston Comedy Club.
Hey, man, I'm going to put you up, and then Red Johnny and the Round Guy are going to go up. Then Cato and Morin.
And then you won't be able to follow them.
Then Sarah, then Colin, then Attell, and Mark Cullen will be very uncomfortable by the time
Is he still your manager?
Yeah. Who's your manager?
Dave Becky.
I like Dave. Dave's a good dude.
Yeah, yes.
Did the camera crew go with you to every city?
Yeah, every city.
Louis got crazy. Louis has a boat. He has so much money.
Yeah, Louis has a boat. He has a huge place to live.
And you?
I have a okay place to live, but I don't make as much money as Louis, if that's your question.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
I don't think you two do.
But that was very generous of him, because what happened was I was going to write to like Netflix or someone to say, hey, I got this idea. I don't know if you'd want to pay for it. And I don't know that Netflix has done a lot of comedy specials like where they pay for it. Excuse me. And then he called me up just randomly and he was asking me like, what are you up to? And I said, I'm thinking of writing to someone to pay for this special because I have this idea. And he kept asking me questions about it. He goes, would you let me do this? Would you let me sell this on my site? I'll pay for it.
How much of the $5 does Louis get?
Well,
$5.
I don't know I don't remember the actual split. I mean, I do actually. I just lied to you. I do know the actual split, but it's after he.
But it's not my business.
Yeah, that's another way. But what I don't know is like how much the thing costs. So he has to recoup his money first
before you see any money either.
Right? Yeah.
But who cares? You're going to get crazy exposure.
Right, and then hopefully I could sell it to Netflix.
I saw Jim Gaffigan retweeted it. All the big.
Yeah, then you retweeted the.
Yeah, I'm small potatoes compared to Jim
Gaffigan's
Gaffigan.
Got millions of followers, right?
It's pretty amazing. There's like some comics that have really not been on TV at all, and they sell out like 3,000 seat theaters.
He's huge, yeah.
Brian Regan, another guy, one of the funniest guys alive.
Definitely, yeah.
And no one's seen him anywhere other than in those theaters.
Yeah, they just, Regan's one of those guys where like, when I used to see him in clubs, like, why is this guy not in theaters? I mean, he's got everything.
He's making up for it.
Yeah. He's just like super funny, clean, high energy.
Yeah. He's one of those guys you could see the same. If he did the exact hour, and I saw the exact hour, word for word, syllable for syllable, 3 different times, I'm still kind of like powerless over it.
Yeah. I've like walked down the street and overheard people like doing his bits to each other and stuff.
Take luck.
Yeah.
Which city out of all the cities you went to on this 7-city, the crowd work special tour, Todd Barry at louisck.com. Oh, it's $5. Go get it now. Which city were you like on stage thinking, oh wow, now this is going to be great and special? And what city were you like, well, there's nothing here we could use. Pack up the tents and goes. This sucks.
Well, it was something. I mean, not to be.
I just said pack up the tents and goes.
We did stay in tents. Louis insisted that we stay in tents.
Louis is weird like that. Ginger tents.
I'd say there were no shows the one that was the weirdest was Portland, which was the one I expected to not be the weirdest. And that they were like, it was like an 8:00 Tuesday, I think. And I was like, this feels like a 1 a.m. show or something. Cause they were drunk and yelling. I mean, not all of them, but just enough. I mean, most people were aware of it and were on, it didn't get ugly, but it was just like, just kind of shut the fuck up kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm recording here.
Yeah. I mean, it is a crowd work thing, but a few of them got a little out of hand.
You guys are wasting Louis' money.
I know. This is,
are you doing crowd work on this special? Because I've never.
It's all crowd work.
Really?
Yeah, that's the
best. That's the evolution of Todd Barry the comic.
Yeah, you never seen me do my crowd work? I'm sure I did it at Boston.
A little bit. You'd always put a toe in the water, and it was always great. And it was always. I was explaining to Matty Boy before you got here, like the Boston Comedy Club. There would be nights where it'd be slow, and like Jason Steinberg or Frosty would just like. Any like Latino, any like elderly white couple, literally like people on assisted living, like yeah, come on in, just free, it's free, just come in. So by the time you go on stage, it's 200 people that have no reason to behave because it's completely free, and they're just screaming at you in many different dialects at once.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that Boston Comedy Club got a bad rap because it could be really good. I mean,
I thought it made me a way better comic, but I didn't reap what I sowed there until it was like 20 years down the line where you're doing a corporate gig and somebody pops off and your gun's out before you even realize you brought a holster.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those rooms where anything that's going to happen, good or bad, will happen. Get something thrown at you, sure, that'll happen. That happened once with Stu Kamens.
Well,
Stu Kamens was talking to some woman who was from another country, and I guess she thought he was insulting her, and maybe he was. I don't know if he was. But then I came on after, like, he introduced me, and then I referenced something like what he said, and she whipped a glass, but it missed me.
So she was mad at Sue Kamens, but she threw a glass at the
Yeah, everything was wrong. I don't even think he was really insulting. So it was a lot of she made a lot of mistakes.
She was mixing up her Jews.
But she thought we were truly making fun of her.
What country was she from?
I don't remember.
What do you mean you don't remember?
It's a long time ago.
I know, but I'm just trying to get the ball rolling. Which city was great on this tour? Which is one you go say, hey, Jay, you got to go hit this city?
Well, I mean, some of them are like, Seattle was great. Vancouver was really good.
I like Vancouver.
Alaska has a completely different feel to it.
Explain it.
Well, they're like, it's sort of like the Boston Comedy Club in that a non-hostile Boston Comedy Club where they're like drunk and yelling. And I mean, they're yelling like, that's what she said. I mean, just like, are you serious? Like,
unironically.
You're like, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like, what are you, fucking 11 years old? Holy shit. But yeah, so they were like, like you could control them. They weren't like rebelling, but they were
super happy you were there.
Yeah, but they drink a lot in Alaska.
Yeah. Boston Comedy Club, they would yell things, and it was in hopes that somebody else in the audience would go, hey, shut the fuck up. So they go, you want to do something about it? And they could just start like throwing fists.
Right. I remember once I did a show there when you could smoke in there.
Yeah.
And I used to do this joke about how I was anti-smoking and I don't let people smoke in my apartment. Actually, I should rephrase that. I don't let men smoke in my apartment. It was a whole hilarious joke. But a guy up front they were smoking up front because they wouldn't think to like make that non-smoking section.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can smoke anywhere, even the front table. And he just went and like intentionally blew smoke in my face. And it was one of those times where I regret, wow, I actually should have gotten into my first fight there, maybe.
Yeah, there's been times I've been on stage at the Boston Comedy Club, and I've had a similar thought, and specifically Todd Barry, my thought was, I should never have quit karate.
Yeah, I mean,
just taking this guy's head off, but he's obviously a weightlifter. He's obviously aggressive, and he's drunk. He's wearing like an Affliction shirt before Affliction shirts were popular.
That is kind of what I was thinking. I was like, oh, am I going to, the aftermath of this, am I going to be like, wow, I'm glad I jumped into the crowd. But I should have dumped a drink on his face or something. Something easy.
But everybody would have come to your aid.
Because everyone was like, oh, yeah. People were like, oh, shit. When he did it, they were like, it wasn't like the audience thought it was a cool thing that he did. You know what I did then? I do remember. I offered someone $20 to dump a drink on his head, and this woman came forward. That's what I did. And then I just sort of was like, oh, I'm going to start a riot here. It's not cool. I should just get out of this. But I backed off on it.
I'm surprised. You know, it's weird when I think about the New York comedy clubs with this Catch a Rising Star, which was closed early by the time you and I were up and running. And then, Boston Comedy Club, Comedy Cellar, all the places in the Village, packed with people. There's a bar downstairs, place upstairs, especially the Comedy Cellar, full restaurant upstairs, packed. The Olive Tree. Downstairs, full comedy club at all times. And the toilet is the size of one like on a private jet.
Yeah, it's a very New York thing.
And I've never seen a line.
There's lines, depending, like, at the beginning of the show, there's lines. But yeah, there's always, New York, there's a lot of like, how do you have two toilets? This place seats 450 people.
How do they get away with that?
I don't know.
Could you write a letter to Mayor Menino? Or whoever's mayor? No, who's New York mayor?
Send an email.
DiBiase?
De Blasio.
Teddy DiBiase?
Yeah, I will write him a letter. Yeah, except Radio City Music Hall has tons of bathrooms.
Then that's appropriate.
Then I should be playing Radio City Music Hall.
I think you should too. But you got to bring back the herpes mild joke.
I know, and then the drop cloth joke.
Oh, but you said one night you said barber chair.
Did I say barber chair?
It never left my head. It's like when you listen to Carlin and you bug out on like the phrasing of certain ways he puts things in order. And I remember just like walking back to my apartment on St. Mark's Place, and I remember I was alone just going, fucking barber's chair and a drop cloth.
Yeah, I remember drop cloth. I don't remember barber's chair, but
maybe I just wrote a tag for you then.
Maybe we'll bring it back with barber's chair. It's a whole new joke.
But I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like that one too, actually.
There were always like 6 comics at any given time at the Boston Comedy Club. It would be Tony Woods, Keith Robinson, me, or you, or like we said, Red Johnny and the Round Guy, Chappelle, Nick DiPaolo, Colin Quinn, Dave Attell. It was absurdly rich with talent. And the Cellar as well. But the Cellar had an upstairs. This is for the listener, not you, obviously. But the Comedy Cellar has a full restaurant upstairs. So the comics will be at a table eating and breaking each other's balls. And you could write on the tables with chalk.
Yeah.
They had those slate tables. But the Boston Comedy Club was above a Scottish pub. Irish pub, excuse me. The Bagot Inn,
that's
the
right.
Bagot,
Yeah.
Baggot, the Bagot Inn, run by little Irish men. Tom was a big guy, but the rest of the guys were like kind of smallish. And so the comics, there was nowhere to go. So you just had to sit in the back on this long couch that went the length of the back room. Do you remember that?
I do remember. I remember when they renovated the place. I forgot what happened though, but
I know. Anytime you renovate a comedy club, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's like, hey, we had a comedy club, and we moved that door, and we put it over there, all fixed.
Or you go into I've gone into places where you're like, oh, the stage is there when it should really obviously be there.
Yeah.
No, this long way. No, don't have it like a big hallway.
We want it to look like a railroad car.
Yeah.
But we're going to put this. Yeah, that's a very good point. There's some clubs you walk into, it's like a railroad car, but instead of the stage being like where the doors are that connect the cars, the stage is like in the middle of the car, so you have to look all the way to your right.
Yeah, or
to get 40 people's attention, or all the way to your left.
It's like two different shows.
Palm Beach Improv has about 40 people in front of you, and then if you look to your left, there's like an ocean of humanity, and it goes up, and you can't even see. Like, and it's not until they put the lights on at the end of the night where you go, holy shit, this is crazy.
It's a big one.
It's huge. I should have been at 6th and I in DC. So who chooses these places for you? I don't think you.
Well, I have some of them I've heard of, and some of them, I have an agent, a booking agent, who's kind of tapped into that. Oh, some of them are like music venues. A lot of them are music venues, but then I just get them to put chairs down. And what happens is you get, you might not play to like the same amount of people. You do 6 nights at a improv or something, but you'll get all people who know you and like you.
Yeah.
And you don't get assholes.
You're playing exactly to people you want to play.
And also, sometimes, there's times I've gotten, not to get all talking about money, but there's times where I've done like a bar and the guy gives me, almost all the money from the door, which if I went to a comedy club, I know some comics can get that, but I can't say, give me all the money.
May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd, I'm at American Comedy Company in San Diego, California. Come see me. May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd. Go see Todd Barry on this tour, the Crowdwork tour, at louisck.com. $5, you download Todd's entire special, the Crowdwork tour.
70 minutes too.
70 minutes.
It's like a tour and a documentary.
That's only 10 minutes a city, Todd. It seems like you're shortchanging the folks.
It's weird. I actually, because of the nature of the show, those were some of the longest shows I've ever done in my life. Like,
you did a 70-minute show each night.
No, I did like some nights I did like hour and 40, some nights hour 45. But
so
I took a chunk or two from each city.
Okay, but you didn't do it like Chris Rock and get Artie, where you like, he's in South Africa and like mid-sentence, all of a sudden his suit changes and he's in London. You're like, whoa, what the hell happened?
No, I've heard about that special, but now it's kind of like going to the city. Here we're getting in the car, we're going to the city, and then so there's footage. There's a little.
Is Louis on camera?
No, he's not.
You said we. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Oh, like me, like sometimes the opening act would drive me.
And who's your opening act? Was it different every time?
I got a few different guys, you know. You poke around.
Love.
Do you bring your a guy named in LA here, I got Tom Papa and Eddie Pepitone. So I got some big guns.
Tom's so good. Come to Papa, Eddie Pepitone.
Yeah, Robert Buscemi I had in San Diego. Dax Jordan I had in Portland, and do you know him?
Portland? Yeah, it's Michael Jordan's kid.
Yeah, it's Michael. I had Michael Jordan's son, Dax Jordan. Dax, yeah.
Yeah. It's Michael Jordan's kid.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
Well, he does not look like him.
High energy white guy.
And a few other people. Guy named Jung Lam. I should get everyone now that you asked me to do. Who else did I have? Did Sarah Tiana in Alaska? Do you know her?
Yeah, well, she's here in L.A., so what was she doing all the way up in Alaska?
She was headlining, and then I got a show there, and they kind of...
flip-flopping.
Yeah, just it was nice of her to do that, because I kind of muscled in, I think.
When you make several $1 million on this Crowdwork special on louisck.com for $5, are you going to buy a boat like Louis? Is that in your future? What's like your big item you want
I left out an opening act, Blaine Capatch. in San Francisco.
Blaine
Do you know Blaine?
Very. We've crossed paths, I think, one
Yeah, really
time,
funny guy, yeah.
But it's a name that from the moment you start comedy, you know the name Blaine Capatch.
Yeah.
Always nice things, too. So I appreciate it.
What would I buy? Like if I made...
What's your big thing? Like Louis buying a boat was very odd.
I would probably get a boat. I've never wanted a boat, but I guess it'd be nice to have a boat. But
when you have that kind of money, do you just have to buy a boat?
I guess it's one of those things that I can afford a boat. We should get a boat.
And I can pay a guy to clean the boat, start it, and tell him I'm coming down, get it ready.
But he really likes his boat, I think. I've never been on it. So,
Todd's face. The realization. Wait, but you got a special.
But I do have a special. I'd rather have him pay for the special than
go on his fucking boat. We can feed the ducks, throw bread out the back of the boat.
I think I would get a really nice apartment, like a loft somewhere.
In Manhattan?
Yeah.
What part of Manhattan?
Downtown,
You're
edgy.
A downtown guy.
Village.
You're going East Village. You're going like...
Yeah, that's where I've lived for a long time.
You're going like 13th and B.
It's nice, 13th and B now.
It's gentrified, which means we've driven...
You never lived in East Village, or did you?
I lived 13th between A and B.
Oh, did you really?
With two waiters from the Comedy Cellar. This gay couple, Louis and Chris.
Oh, my God.
Do you remember them at all? Just two gay guys on an island of 9 million people. I thought they'd stand out to you. I lived with them, and it was great. They had a Rottweiler and a Doberman, but they were like club kids, so they would come home at like 7 in the morning, and they were just like crashed on like, Special K and like crazy horse tranquilizers, and they would just pass out. But I got home at like 2. I played like video games. I went to bed at like 4. So I get up at like 9, and these like 200-pound dogs are just looking at me like, please. So I just took them to Tompkins Square Park every day. And
you took their dogs while they were coming down from their...
Yeah, like they would just be asleep for like 48 hours, and I just had these dogs. It was great. I trained them.
That sound like horrible roommates.
No, they were great roommates.
Really?
Because other guys, like Eric, I remember, was a waiter from the Comedy Central, and he was kind of a speed freak, and he'd come over super speedy, and he would clean the whole goddamn apartment. He'd be like, hey guys, how you doing? He'd just like literally come in the door and just start rearranging shit, doing all the dishes, and you're just sitting there with a bong between your knees playing, Pitfall from Atari. Like, this guy's the best. Bring him over more often. But I'd like train those dogs. Like, I used to walk in the Tompkins Square Park from 13th. I guess it's $10. And I had him off a leash. And it's makes you feel cool. A Rottweiler and a Doberman on the other side. Like, you feel like Shaft.
That's such an East Village punk rock combo right there.
Yeah. It was tight. Baron was the Doberman, and Uma was no relation. Was the Rottweiler. And I remember the riots broke out in Tompkins Square Park as Rudy Giuliani took a bulldozer to all the homeless people's tents.
I vaguely remember that.
It was called Tent City, and only people that lived there were it was basically a big giant homeless thing like you would see in a movie. Like, or this is like the depot where everybody goes. And Rudy Giuliani was like, gave him like 3 weeks warning, kept writing newspaper articles about it, went down with the bullhorn, and then one day, like, literally bulldozers and tractors are just making flat, like they had to run out of their tents. It was fascinatingly gruesome. Nobody got killed or anything,
right?
But just
steamroller,
just
literally.
The humanity.
Yeah.
Just like, but you know what? I did enjoy the park a lot after the fact.
I could go to the park.
I'd get stoned and go down the slide. It was nice. Anyway. But I remember the riots broke out because everybody was up in arms because it was like a police state. Like they're just kicking people out of their houses. And people were hopping the fences and throwing like actual Molotov cocktails at cops. And I remember 4 guys hopped the fence at the same time, like landed from me to you in front of me. And they just went to like scream at me, and they looked down at both dogs, and it was like I was a giant rock in a river, and people just went around me.
I think having those dogs
off leash
definitely lower your percentages of getting fucked with
mid riot.
That's pretty impressive, man.
And I taught them how to make Molotov cocktails. So 7 cities, you're doing the tour, and you're going to all these neat places. DC, I like. Have you seen the Vietnam Wall? You ever been over there?
I have, yeah.
It's really something you need to do last.
Yeah, and the Holocaust Museum also is kind of like, all right.
Is that in DC?
Yeah.
Or the one here, the museum?
Yeah, I know there's a few. It's a chain. No, there's. It's this franchise. It's like Kinko's, but
you have to this is a note for anybody going to DC, and if you want to see Todd Barry and going sightseeing, if you want to see the Holocaust Museum, which I haven't been to, so I can't speak from experience, or the Vietnam Wall. Just see everything first, and like right around dusk, then you hit the Vietnam Wall, because you leave there and it's like,
yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, brutal, and the most effective thing I've ever been to in my life.
As far as moving you, like,
because it's just it's a wall.
Yeah, it's so simple. Like the idea of just here's the names
and a student. Do you know how that all?
Yeah, there was like a competition, right?
Yeah, it was a girl's thesis, I think, at Stanford. Someone will tweet us and correct us.
I hope so. I like a tweet correction.
Yeah. Some guy just tweeted me tonight. It's root, not route. And I wrote back, it's douche and douche.
I think it's root or route.
Not when you root for a team.
Oh, yeah.
I spelled it like Route 66.
Oh. But you know,
like the guy just piled in immediately.
Yeah, something about getting corrected on Twitter, like,
I usually ignore it, but this guy...
Yeah, I try to ignore him also, but like you get mad because you're like mad at yourself for making a mistake, but then there's just something about someone who would even like, you wrote your with an apostrophe instead of, it's like...
I expect more from you, man.
It's just like, it's fucking typo that everyone makes, especially with phones, because they autocorrect.
As you're taking a shit or driving. As I'm driving very quickly down the FDR Drive, steering with my knees, I got to get this tweet out.
Yeah.
Forgive me for spelling there the wrong way.
Yeah, it happens.
Vietnam Wall girl, I think she went to Stanford. It was her thesis in college. And it's the simplest thing in the world. And you know it because you were there. But the wall starts like, you ever been there, Matty Boy? No. It starts...
I've wanted to go, but I've never been.
It starts like with like a little ledge with just like one name that goes across. So it's like maybe as high as like a brick. And then just gets a little higher, and the names go up and up. But what you don't realize as you're going through it, by the time you get to like 1968, 69, you've been gradually going downhill, and the walls are getting higher at the same time.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So it's the freakiest feeling. You're like, you're just in it, like very symbolic of the word itself. And then it's the same distance out as it is to go back the way you came. And then you see guys like bringing like 6 packs of beer like to their buddies and doing like stencils like.
Yeah, I've seen the stenciling. I never saw the 6 pack.
I saw a guy several. More than 3 is several. So yeah, I saw several. Yeah,
we'll go with several.
I saw several guys bring like a 6-pack or just put like a Schlitz down next to a guy's
Wow,
name.
that's kind of heavy duty.
So heavy. And they would just literally like walk across the quad, which is enormous, like 5 football fields of grass, and there's just walls up there. And then like literally just put down a can of beer, open it, and then just walk back to the cars and drive back to Vermont.
And some shithead steals the beer probably.
Well, I am an alcoholic, and I did have to get drunk to go on stage at the DC Improv, where they say, this is where you're playing, the country western station.
DC Improv's a good club.
I like it. I don't enjoy the Escape from Alcatraz, walk to the stage behind the curtain where they give you 8 inches.
It's kind of like, it's very cramped, right? You end up like slamming into audience members.
Cramped? It's a curtain.
Yeah, it's curtain, yeah.
Smaller than shoulder width from the wall. And so audience members, like how I'm sitting with my arm over the back of the chair. So that guy's elbow's now in your little fake hallway with the curtain up against the brick wall, and you got to go the length of the club.
I had someone at that club thrown out like the last 3 minutes of my set. Like
the best.
I was just like, you know what? I'm almost done, but before I finish, you've been drunk and screaming the whole night, so let's get rid of you. Everyone applauds, and then I did like 5 more minutes. I was like, I totally could have just let it go, but I was like, no, let's throw you out, even though we're almost done here.
Let's give love to the sponsors right here. Back momentarily, Todd Barry. Let's face it, folks, sending online flowers sucks. We've all been burned. $19.99 somehow becomes $74.50, and it's 3 weeks late. What shows up isn't what you ordered. It's dead. And then you get spammed nonstop. That is why the geniuses at thebooks.com, B-O-U-Q-S, as in bouquet, thebooks.com launched a whole new way to send flowers. That's thebooks.com, B-O-U-Q-S.com, because they took bouquets and simplified them. Thebooks.com send flowers straight from sustainable farms located on an active volcano in South America. Seriously? Is this copy correct? Yeah, it is correct. Volcano flowers? I'm in. And they charge a flat rate of just $40 with free delivery. Did you hear that one? Free delivery, so your loved one gets beautiful flowers and you save cash. And it came from a volcano in South America. You can tell people that. You like your flowers? I hope you do. You know how hard it was for me to get those out of that volcano in South America? This Mother's Day, thebooks.com, BOUQS. Thebooks.com is offering 15% off plus free shipping when you use promo code MOHR, M-O-H-R. So go to thebooks.com, thebooks, BOUQS.com. Click on the shop button at the top of the page and send that special someone a book. Don't forget, order today with the promo code MOHR, M-O-H-R, to get 15% off from a South American volcano. It's a flower delivery. It's the best free shipping on flowers from a freaking volcano. Books!
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
I think it'd be great if you had the guy thrown out and literally said just good night.
Good. Oh, that would
just cheat him.
Maybe I even did that. Like, maybe I made that.
Thanks a lot.
That would be, that would be funnier. Yeah. He's gone. You guys have been a great crowd. Let's say goodbye to me and the person who's being thrown out.
It is amazing that fights happen as often as they do at comedy clubs, considering it's booze and it's the only room in the world that you go to laugh.
Right.
It's the only emotion business. Like, there's no crying rooms, like a chain of places. Like, let's go get emo, bro. Let's listen to the Smiths. Just fucking wear a lot of black. Just get bummed out.
My shows are like that, though. I mean, mine is the closest comedy equivalent of what you just described right there.
I disagree. I've seen you too many times. I've probably seen you 100 times. Would you
really
say that's fair? You've seen me 100 times.
It's not fair to yourself.
That's not true at all. Don't downplay this shit.
I know.
You've seen me 100 times.
Yeah, probably.
So I've seen you 100 times too.
All right,
it's
we're
the
even.
Same rooms.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you in what, 20 years?
Has it been 20 years since I've seen? No, it can't be 20 years.
15.
Do you think it's been that long? Holy shit.
Of course it has.
That's crazy.
How many times you playing the Sixth and I? You've been there like 8 times since I saw you last.
I only did it once.
Is there one town? I'll never go back to Louisville.
Really?
Is there a town in the United States you won't go back to? Because they'll tweet you aggressively like, what the fuck?
I try not. I mean, I've had things where, like, I've had this before. I don't know if you've had this before, where something happens in a city and then people will apologize because they're worried that you're never going to come back to the city. You're like, nah, just one drunk asshole. I'm not going to assume everyone is the same as the worst guy I've ever.
I don't get the one, like, sorry the guy crew was drunk on that one show. What I get is like, hey, it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup in Buffalo. We never get to the Stanley Cup. Sorry. And you're like, it's just the luck of the draw. Like, no, Buffalo is absurd to guess they would go to the Stanley Cup. But like being in like Detroit. And like it's literally Game 7 of the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit Red Wings are in the Stanley Cup, and you're like, wow.
You're playing to 4 people? Is that what you mean?
It's just a tough draw.
Yeah, I've done that.
No, I'm not going to hold that against you. It's the Stanley Cup. I'd be home watching too, but.
Yeah, I've done that where you show up and they're like, oh yeah, there's a chili cook-off in the parking lot and the Spin Doctors are playing it. And you're like, so the show might be a little light. Okay.
That's when you're happy you don't have a door deal.
Yeah, it's like that.
When you don't have a door deal and they tell you they're going to take you to all the radio stations, then you go, nah. You know what? I'm tired.
Well, I think there was a lot. I mean, at comedy clubs for me, there was a lot of that where you just like, so I'm just helping you. I mean, I've done clubs. I mean, I do better now, but early on where you're like, you're looking at and then you're going, that table, I'm getting their money and they're getting everything else. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm getting 4 people's cover charges and that's it.
But when you do, and you will, obviously, and you do at time, when you get like a piece of the door, like on a night, you just whore out and you tell everybody, you really got to come to the Sunday show. That's really the best show. Because you get to go to work the next day and you get to tell everybody what a good time you had. You just turn into a used car salesman.
Right. Or there's that, sometimes, they give you the bonus, the sellout bonus.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that because it's just it's not a real defined thing what a sellout is with these clubs.
Yeah.
Because you're looking and you go, looks like a sellout. Oh, look in the corner. You see there, we have 2 chairs there. We have these stack of chairs. Yeah, that's because it's not a sellout. Okay. You mean it's not illegally a sellout? It's not,
right.
Like it's beyond the fire code already, but.
You got to go maximum occupancy and just count. You got to get Blaine Capatch with a clicker, just counting the entire crowd.
I think Blaine would love that.
Blaine,
at this stage in his life, we'd click off.
Blaine, I'll give you $20.
There are people who travel with. Do you travel with a tour manager?
No, I don't do anything. I just go out by myself. I always tell them if I'm not the easiest guy you've worked with, then I've completely failed. They're like, "You want to do this? You want to do this?" I'm like, "Sure." You want to do TV? No.
That's.
I'm not going on Good Morning Pittsburgh after they make fucking omelets.
That's another thing. Like, that's a new thing where that's like a relatively new thing where like.
I've never not had it. I had the last couple of years, I had to put my foot down and say, unless I have a door deal and it's slow, then I'm like, good morning, Arizona is a tremendous idea. Thanks a lot. And then you got to pull like a Tracy Morgan and take your shirt off and lay on the counter or something.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, I know it does help, but sometimes you feel like you're just making me wake up early.
You seem very dubious, Todd Barry.
About what?
About all things comedy. Anybody that's not you or your immediate circle of friends in comedy, no, not at all. Like we started. I'm not saying this in judgment. I'm just saying it's interesting. Like, then they make you do radio, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of how.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you could play somewhere and have a publicist line up stuff for people who like
right there. The Todd Barry I knew in 1991. If I told you you're going to be in my garage on my podcast having a publicist, you'd say, "What's a podcast?" Then after we weeded through technology,
I'd say, "What's a publicist?" Also.
Yeah, but then if I told you were going to have one. Like, I was surprised I didn't have your number. Like, you have a publicist for this tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is fascinating to me. You're spending more money on your publicist than you ever would have spent just going to an improv and having them drive you around doing all the radio stations.
But
what do you need to juggle? What is the publicist? What is so crazy?
Well, I'm doing a special and a tour, so I don't know. I was told it was good. I mean, it's a good idea.
But you know what? I will say this. I read your piece that they wrote about you in the New York Times.
Yeah.
I was very happy for you and proud of you because there's a lot of douchebags out there. You're not one of them. So it's one of the guys you like. And it was a big spread.
Yeah.
And they just said, like, here's the guy. We're the New York Times. By the way, Todd Barry, this is the guy we've chosen.
And there's an article today about the special. In the New York Times, yeah.
So how did this relationship with you in the New York Times
kick
off?
I'm a New York institution. I'm like the Empire State Building.
You are, because there's always a gorilla.
I'm as funny as the Empire State Building.
You've been in it?
I have been. Of course I've been in it.
Well, a lot of people haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to go once in your life. It's beautiful.
I haven't been.
Really?
Well, he lives here, so that'd be weird.
Have you been to New York?
I have been, yes. But I don't.
Yeah, no, you don't rush to the Empire State Building.
Give a shit about that, no.
Hey.
It's pretty, yeah. Jesus, man.
Yeah, man. That was.
We're having like a mellow NPR talk.
That was aggro. Are people going to complain that I'm too mellow? Is that?
No, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
This is how you are.
Yeah.
This is how By the way, this is exactly how Todd Barry acts off stage.
Well, that's another reason some of these.
Apologize.
That's another reason some of the radio stations. And to be fair, sometimes I get there and they're perfectly nice and fun to talk to, but. Sometimes they'll not do any research about you, and they don't even know who you are.
So you're a comic.
Yes, you're a comic, and then you're like, "Oh, you're kind of low energy, or you're a bundle of energy." Well, if you knew what you were getting into, if you did half a minute of work,
YouTube.com.
Yeah, you could go to YouTube and go, "Oh, this guy's too low energy. I don't want him in my radio station."
Or, wow, this is exactly what we need on this radio station.
Yeah,
this
got to bring us down a little bit
and or seriously,
yeah,
this is what we need. He could play the foil. Because we're like such maniacs, it'd be fun to have a low energy guy here.
Yeah, that would be a smart person who would say that.
So how do people know, what is your publicist's line? Because this interests me greatly. What does your publicist line up for you to eschew the entire corporate radio teat? What does she do or he do instead to ensure that people come to your shows on the Crowdwork tour?
Well,
how do I know? If I'm in Philadelphia, how do I know Todd Barry's in town?
Well, I'll tweet about it. I'll mailing list it. I will, sometimes I'll write to places myself and I'll just go, "Hey, I'm coming to your town. You want to interview me?"
Like the Philadelphia Examiner.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And do you show that to your publicist and say, "Apologize"?
I say apologize.
Take $500 off the bill.
Look, I got this myself. But like, for example, some, people, I saw some dude from Vanity Fair followed me on Twitter. So I wrote to him and said, "Hey, I'm doing this Crowdwork special." And he writes back. And then, I'm going to set up an interview, which...
all I ever wanted in comedy was like people to review my shows.
Yeah.
One time it happened. Who's the guy in the New York Post? Clive. If you get the wrong Clive, it's the most asinine name. There's a Clive Barnes. There's a Clive
I think
Owen.
it's Clive Barnes.
Clive Barnes is like a theater guy.
Yeah.
He's an institution for real. Like we're goofing off.
He reviewed you?
He came to Caroline's and reviewed me, and all he wrote about was that my suit was wrinkled. But I flew from L.A. First of all, I'm wearing a suit. Like, I'm showing a little respect to the crowd. Like, I respect you enough to put a suit on. Those days are long gone, by the way. I go on how you and I are just right now. We're standing here in our underpants and robes.
I'm wearing a suit, to be fair.
And a bubble pipe. So he just, the usually Natalie attired, and I was like, I don't know what Natalie from Facts of Life. It was, Natalie well dressed. I guess I did research. It means well dressed, and he just went, and he crowd was into it. Blah blah blah. It was fun. But the suit was tan, wrinkled. I couldn't figure out why he would take the stage and why he wouldn't present himself in a more professional manner. But it was a good time. People seemed to. But the suit. It's
because he sees plays all the time that are very regimented and where there's a dresser backstage who would iron that thing for him.
And that was really the mistake on that tour of mine, was firing the costume department. Usually I come down the big staircase and my big frilly
steamer.
Yeah, the big frilly gown, and then I got the big costume change where I play the part of the boss in the opium den, so I could get into my Chinese outfit. But I wanted to write the guy. I was livid. Like, I wore a suit. I just got off an airplane. I flew here to do jokes. You took a cab. Leave me alone with the suit.
Yeah.
And you know what? How about this? How about somebody at Caroline's, Gordon, our old friend Gordon the bartender, or any of the waiters and waitresses that become friends of ours peripherally go, your suit's really fucking wrinkled. And you go, oh, and you use that iron backstage at Caroline's.
There's an iron backstage?
I like to paint a little cool picture.
I mean, yeah,
No, there wasn't. You know why? That's why I play Gotham now.
Really? No iron?
Because there's an iron. That's why.
Get a little travel steamer, you'll be all set, man.
Yeah, I can't roll like that. You're rolling with a publicist and 18 opening acts. I just go solo.
You're sitting there in a pretty nice house.
Yeah, it's sitcom money. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you've gotten the J. Mohr newsletter. No sitcom-y, no more. But the mortgage goes into syndication.
What does that mean?
It means your sitcom gets canceled, but your fucking house payments when you're making that kind of money are exactly the same.
Right. They don't stop you still owe the money. They don't go, oh, you got canceled, you don't owe us the money.
Yeah. So you got to so that's why we keep doing the stand-up and hustling and breaking our chops.
How often
jokes.
are you on the road?
I go out probably 100 shows a year. But that's a lot because I have a full-time, I have a radio show, which is full-time, Monday through Friday here. But they let me do the show. If I go to Tampa, they'll put me up in a studio in Tampa, and I'll just Skype with this guy here. Maddie's the associate producer of the show, and I just do it, and I just look at everybody on the Skype, and it's just a radio station. It's easy. It's fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Sports talk, jock stuff.
Good sports talk.
So you do all the comedy clubs that we were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't say anything bad about them. So nothing.
No, we didn't.
No. Keep it positive.
No.
Todd Barry's $5 special, the Crowdwork Tour, is on louisck.com. It's available right now. Go to toddbarry.com if you want to see cool deer with $10
It's pretty nice.
I'm not breaking your balls.
I know.
I can show you my website. It takes 15 seconds for a picture to show up, but it's not.
I think I've been on your website.
It's not super complicated. I don't know why. Sometimes my dates don't load.
You gotta, you have a web guy, right? You gotta either get a new web guy or gal, or it's not you, is it?
Not me, no.
Okay.
Don't look my way.
Or, I don't know what to do. Get a
When
template.
he says don't look his way, he means the rest of the podcast. Don't even fucking look.
Don't even fucking look.
Hey. I'm telling you, he's a nut.
That would be funny. Just show up at someone's house and everyone's shitty to you. Just fucking. Well.
And then Todd goes, you know what? I should have gotten in a fight on that podcast.
Have you ever had anyone argue with you?
No. I've had a couple brick walls. I've had a few people where I was like, wow, I'm not even sure why you came in. Nothing.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
I'm usually that guest.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then I've had guests. I'm trying to think of somebody. Alan Havey got on me about being Catholic.
Really?
But Alan Havey, I like very much.
Yeah.
And I actually converted to Catholicism, and he was raised Catholic and got out. He's an ardent atheist. So that blew his mind of the height of idiocy and lunacy that a 40 41-year-old man at the time would actually convert to something that he loathed.
At 41, you converted?
Yeah, from Presbyterian. It's kind of a lateral move. It's not like I got the big corporate, the corner office.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lateral move.
Kind of just went from Toyota to Honda.
Yeah, it's the same. But he was like, really just like, why? Like, you're like basically telling me I'm a fucking idiot. And then I explained to him like this series, chain of events that had happened to me. And he just kind of was like, oh, actually, yeah, I probably would too.
Oh, really? He let you slide on it?
But nothing contentious that I can remember, Matty Boy. Do you remember anybody?
No, just awkward. Just like you said, just brick walls. People that just don't come to play. It's just we're here to have fun and fuck around and make jokes. And some people
I'm here to play, man. I'm even petting your dog while I'm talking to you.
Just don't don't want to do it.
Sometimes it's not their fault. Kevin Nealon lives around the corner, and he flew from Atlanta to L.A. and he literally lives, a par 3 from here. And he like dropped his bags off, told his wife, I'll be right back, walked up the street, sat in that massage chair and turned it on after that 6-hour fucking horrible flight we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like, just lost him to the massage
Oh, really?
chair. And it was like, tell me about the first time you ever met Chris Farley. And he was just in the massage chair, like after a 6-hour flight. And he goes,
why did he agree to do a podcast after?
Because just as a favor, because I bugged the shit out of him, like what you do when you have a podcast, like when you do my podcast,
Yeah.
Nick Kroll.
Nick's not doing it?
No, he's going to do it eventually. Just timing.
We kind of live on the outskirts here, man. Maybe that's the problem. Is this the outskirts?
Well, if any further west, you'd be wet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the outskirts. But, you want to sell something, I'm your guy. But no brick walls, no arguments.
No.
But there have been... I'm trying to that's a very good question, Todd.
You ever get in like an argument with an interviewer? Like someone who's interviewing you?
When I was on Marin, he actually came with me just because we were hanging out that day. And it was a full-on, like, I don't know what he wanted me...
Oh, Marin, actually?
Yeah,
okay.
I was on the ropes, covered up, and going, I don't know what else to tell... No. And it was just like... He just wanted me to admit to bad things about myself. And I did admit to shortcomings that I've had. Being aggressive, being very overly, being manic, being an alcoholic, being very cocky, very full of myself at a very young age, which I know is a good way for people to just simply think you're a dick, as you walk through life. And combining all of it. And it was like, he just was like a dog with a chew toy. He wouldn't stop. And at one point I said, You can frame it any way you want. I'm still going to tell you no.
Wow. I'm doing a show on...
He'll love you because you're much smarter than I am. You're an erudite man, and I'm more of a jock hack from way back.
No. Wow.
And Maddie, when we left, Maddie was like, man, fuck that guy. Like, he was ready to fight Mark Maron.
This fucking guy.
It was intense. Like, It was a workout. But then when I listened to it, I was very happy with the composure. Right. That I would not have had, like, even 6 years. When I met my wife, it's kind of like the curtain came down, like, I don't give a fuck about anything.
Well, what really pissed me off, it wasn't so much him just hounding you. It was when he started to waterboard you.
Yeah, waterboarding was weird.
That I'd really
literally waterboard.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was outlawed.
Right. Me too.
And he was like, no, he said, read the Accords.
There's a podcast exemption.
Yeah, there's a podcast, diplomatic immunity for podcasts. So there was an exemption.
He pulled out this whole thing. There was a document. He showed us a section B, whatever the fuck it was, and he said, when being interviewed on a podcast, that you can be waterboarded in the United States of America. So,
and you know what? I lasted pretty long, but when you got to drive home, because he's on the fucking outskirts, everyone comes here and goes like, "Hey, it took me fucking 45 minutes to get here."
Oh,
like,
is he far, Austin?
He's on the other side of Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I don't even know where that is.
He's way out.
I don't think I've ever seen Dodger Stadium in my 50 trips to L.A.
Oh, Todd, apologize.
L.A. is a big city.
How do you figure?
No, it's a big city to, it's like it's hard to learn this city.
Yeah, it is. There's still nooks and crannies.
Every day here in neighborhood, like, I had never even heard of that neighborhood.
Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction was sitting where you were sitting, lead singer, and I asked him, because the best concert I ever saw was Jane's Addiction. So here I am, I got the lead singer of Jane's Addiction, and I go, what's the best concert you ever saw? And he said it was Led Zeppelin. And I go, oh, cool. And he, which is great. Like, and that somebody that saw Led Zeppelin is like, it's just like, it's not normal.
Yeah.
And he was like 16. They were in Tampa, and he's sitting right where you are. And he goes, "'Cause he's got that voice, that Perry, like I just came from the woods voice." And they open with the song remains the same. Dun, dun, and he does the entire. He puts his hand on my knee like dun, 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 and it's like a 4-minute intro, and then he does the vocals. If I had a dream, and he's like way up.
I'm not even comfortable with you telling me
yeah,
about
you
this.
actually recoiled when I did it. And so like a part of me is going like, I can't believe Perry Farrell is like doing Zeppelin to me. And then the other part of my brain was going, this is really long. You know what's not here? John Bonham, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and Jimmy Page.
Right.
It's just Jimmy Page, and it's just Perry Farrell in a really nice shirt.
What did he came to the house?
Yeah, he's over here, too.
Oh, he's a neighbor also?
They all come.
How do you find out who your neighbors are if you have houses?
They come here and they go, yeah, I live right around. Actually, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses came, and he goes, does Perry Farrell live near here? I go, I don't know. He goes, he lives really close to here. I go, how do you figure it? And I forgot Duff McKagan actually toured with Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
And he went to Perry's house to work on music with the
Perry
guys.
have a nice house?
I have not seen it. I've been invited, and I've done the typical I live west of Cloverfield response, like, I can't, I got this thing with the thing. Want to come to a Laker game? Just no. But if Todd Barry wants me to pour a drink on somebody's head for $20,
oh man,
you know what I'm telling you? $80, you got yourself a drink on the head.
I know. I'd have to inflation. It'd have to be a minimum of 80.
80's a good number. No, I'll cap out at 80. Don't worry. That's not the minimum. That's the max. That's it. That's just the number, Todd. What's your middle name?
Andrew.
And is Todd short for anything?
No, it isn't.
Have you heard George Carlin when he goes, Todd?
Yeah.
Does that make you happy?
It hurt my feelings. No, I think it's funny. I have a good.
What would Todd
good
be
sense
short
of humor.
for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've known a lot of
Toddward?
Toddrick? What would Todd be short for?
I don't know. I'd say either one of those.
Toddley?
Toddley?
Toddley Barry?
I hope not Toddley.
That's if you were the exact same comic but black. You'd be Toddley Barry. Oh, shit. Toddley, L-E-E.
Maddie loved that one.
No, well, it's funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
Well, then tell your face. You're Kevin Nealing me.
Tell my laughter.
I'm glad you have this special. It's at LouisCK.com. Is Louis doing LouisCK.com? It's the Crowdwork Tour. It's $5. Is Louis doing anybody else's?